So the other day I made that video, my little rant against racists, and I made a little comment in there that sort of touched upon the Trayvon Martin case, and there might be some of you might want to know my opinion, so let's just dive into this. I think I heard about it the morning of. I think TYT covered it, and my first initial reaction was probably what a lot of people first reaction was like, oh my god, this guy killed a teenager and he's not in prison. What the fuck, you know? But a little after that, racists started to come out and agree with Zimmerman. You know, so all those annoying racist comments. Of course, you know, he was innocent because he's not the black guy, so whatever. And after hearing the racist comments, and this was, you know, maybe a couple months after having my position, I realized I'm really no better than them with my position, because I'm going the opposite of the racist position, and then so I would automatically side with the non-racist point of view. That's sort of exactly what racists do. They side with the racist point of view. Trayvon Martin, you know, been white, and you know, vice versa. They would just, you know, side with Trayvon Martin. So it's just they don't care, you know. And then the same thing with me. Would I have, you know, if Trayvon Martin was white, would I have sided with Zimmerman, etc. So I basically realized my position was no better than racists. It just was the reverse. I just kind of, let's see what the evidence comes out to, and, you know, look at the facts. And as the months went on, what I realized was, I mean, whoever, regardless of whatever happened, George Zimmerman is kind of a sketchy guy. He received, I think, $200,000 in donations from, I would assume most of them are racist people. I just would assume that, because, you know, there's a problem when racists agree with you, you know. But he's received $200,000, something like that. And then when the court fined him, or he had to post bail or something like that, he said he didn't have any money. So he lied about that. Hearing about his story, it was inconsistent. It didn't make any sense. One instance, he said Trayvon and him are both going for the gun, even though we know his gun was in like kind of the back pocket area. So there's really no way Trayvon could have got that, especially if he was on top of him. But yeah, like it was like a movie. Like Trayvon and him were going after the gun. Like they both saw the gun. Like, oh, you know. I heard one story where he said Trayvon said to him, "You're going to die tonight." Zimmerman really just kind of hit the hammer on the head. Zimmerman captured a psychopath 17-year-old who, if he ever got in a fight with someone, would say, "You're going to die tonight." It just the story just seemed so goofy, and it didn't even make any sense. So let's get into the story here. The fact that he's a neighborhood watch bothered me when I first heard that. Like, who the fuck is this guy? But after hearing that there's been 8 robberies in that community in the last year, the fact that he's a neighborhood watch doesn't bother me more. That's understandable. He sees some sketchy kid walking around in a hoodie, and I mean, is this was it racism, whatever? I mean, personally, I sort of think he followed Trayvon, or was suspicious of him because he was black, but at the same time, I don't think he killed him because he was black. I'll get into why I think he killed him. I have no problem with him calling the police on that, but the fact that he followed him just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, if he knew what his name was, it's called Neighborhood Watch. The keyword is watch. You watch. Okay? You watch, you call the police, and the police will deal with it. Real police. Anyways, so he follows this guy based on his story, which I do agree with. He goes up to him and goes, "Hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?" You know, and Trayvon's probably like, "Go fuck yourself. Like, leave me alone." You know, like this guy randomly is following me. He's coming up to me, bothering me and stuff. And I will say, I wouldn't be surprised that Trayvon threw the first punch, or maybe Trayvon shoved him, "Get away from me," and he shoved him back, and then a fight started. I would totally agree with anybody who would say Trayvon threw. I wouldn't argue against that. Why not? Okay. So they get in a scuffle, they get in a fight, and Trayvon's probably kicking his ass by now, because George Zimmerman is a little pussy with a little gun, run around neighborhood watch, kind of wannabe cop guy. And out of frustration, out of getting his head slammed on the concrete, person who analyzed his wounds and stuff said they were just minor injuries. Out of frustration that this kid's on top of him, he's kicking his ass, like, holy shit, this kid's kicking my ass. He got out his gun and shot him. I don't necessarily think he meant to kill him. It was more, I mean, maybe he was trying to do a warning shot, or, well, I mean, it nailed him right in the heart, so I don't know. I think it was out of pure just frustration. Like, this kid is on top of me, he's beating me up, and he shot him. I mean, here you have a situation where a guy followed somebody, he got in a scuffle with him, and then he ended up killing him. if the guy just wouldn't have followed him in the first place, yeah. And then you have all these people coming out, oh, if only Trayvon's parents didn't raise him like a dog or raise him like what? Shut the fuck up. Like, you're not allowed to have any retaliation, anybody coming up to you, bothering you. You're not, someone's just going, hey, what are you doing here? You're not having any retaliation. You're just a dog. You're just raised by, savages. Like, what the fuck? But that sort of is the story, from what I know. People are going, oh, our jury system's so fucked up. And also, I think it's just Florida, really, for the most part. Ever since Florida passed that stand your ground law, self-defense claims have tripled since then. Getting back to George Zimmerman being a sketchy person, he keeps playing himself as he's some kind of victim. Let's say Trayvon had a knife and he was like literally about to stab him, like it was like Scream or something, and then he shot him or something like that. Like literally, Zimmerman's life was definitely, he was gonna die if he did not kill him. There is no humility in the way I've seen him talk or anybody say anything. You're the idiot who got yourself in that situation. You're the one who followed him when you weren't supposed to. You were the one, when the cops said, do not follow him, you followed him. Like, there's no, like, him coming out and saying, I'm really sorry this situation happened. I mean, I shouldn't have followed him. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I'm an idiot for doing that. Like, there's no humility whatsoever. Like, he's just this victim. Like, even if, literally his life was in danger, you're still an idiot. It doesn't matter. You're still an idiot. And his life, to my knowledge, wasn't in danger. Evidence suggests that. You could say, well, why would you have any sympathy for some guy who was trying to kill you, But it's like, you were the one who kind of got yourself in that situation, It's, I don't know, there was no humility whatsoever. That was just kind of baffling to me. I mean, I thought they could at least got him on manslaughter, but I'm not mad at the jury. They have to. I'm sure a couple of them probably didn't feel too good about that, but they have to have solid evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, and they just don't have it. But what also is sad, it's like that football player that killed his wife and then killed himself. It's like if he didn't have a gun, and this isn't a rant against guns or anything. No gun law is going to stop this. But if he didn't have a gun, that they would have had an argument, and then they both would have went to bed and forgot about it the next morning. The fact that he had a gun, out of frustration, arguing with his wife, he just grabbed the gun and shot her and just didn't think up. Like, if he didn't have a gun, this is what would have happened. Trayvon and him would have had a fight. Trayvon would have kicked his pussy ass, and then the cops would have came, what happened, and then that would have been really it. It's just, this isn't like a rant against guns. No gun law will stop random craziness. No gun law will stop that. Basically, is this self-defense now? Can I personally just bother someone can I just go to a bar and bother someone? Hey, asshole, what are you doing? And it could be like, okay, fuck off, you're talking back to me, and basically annoy the fuck out of him so much that he throws a punch at me and then just whip out my gun and kill him. I mean, is that really self-defense now? I don't know. Anything else to say? I thought his two defenders, his lawyers or whatever, those guys look like nothing to do with racism or race or anything like that. Those guys just like, and it's like regardless of the case, looking at those guys, they just look like two scumbags to me. And the picture with one of the bald guy with his daughters or his daughter or whatever, that just that made me irk. Like dad, it's like hashtag dad beat stupidity and all this stuff. It's like, we're talking about a case here where some guy killed a teenager. Whether it's self-defense is irrelevant. A teenager has been murdered, regardless if he was an asshole. A minor has been murdered, and you're just kind of like, hashtag, oh yeah, we're winning. Like this isn't like once again, no humility whatsoever. There's no sympathy on the other side. Like, man, I think George Zimmerman was innocent, but it's a really shitty that the situation happened. No, nothing like that. It's just, it's either, everybody has an extreme viewpoint on this situation. It's kind of sad. You can see the comments up here, just everybody on both sides is crazy. I mean, it's sad. It's So my final thoughts is, I agree with George Zimmerman's story, but I don't think he killed him out of self-defense. I think he killed him as a reactionary, as a frustration that a kid is on top of him punching him, and just to end the situation, shot him. I don't think he killed him in cold blood. I don't think it was anything like that. But yeah, Florida's laws are fucked up. This is why self-defense has been tripled ever since they passed the stand your ground law. And hey, it is what it is. Not enough evidence to convict him. That's it.